Welcome to the 2021 New York City Candidates Forum, brought to you as a public service by the Henry George School of Social Science. The shortage of housing and high rental costs are issues that many New Yorkers, especially millennials, are struggling with. How do you plan to address this problem?
The shortage of housing isn't just applicable to millennials, it affects all age groups. It's one of the biggest issues that people speak with me about when I go door to door campaigning for the city council. I would say that uh, the way I plan to address the shortage of affordable housing is to issue a moratorium on large scale luxury developments in District 20. I want to force the city to reform the land use process, as well as actually invest in building housing that is truly affordable to low and middle income residents in my district.
Blighted and vacant parcels dot New York City, especially in the outer boroughs. What strategies do you support to put them back into productive use for both families and commerce?
My main idea, and love to hear what you think, is to uh, advocate for the establishment of a fifth property tax class that would specifically target vacant land and speculative holdings to dramatically increase the land value tax and try and recoup for people who live in our community uh, the the value of that land so that we can actually start addressing the needs in our community.
New York has had recent experiences with upzoning, Flushing and Murray Hill, for example. Evidence indicates upzoning capitalizes onto increased land values. What is your view on upzoning?
The zoning process is broken and I want to fix it. One of the ways that I hope to address land use and zoning in my community is to, one, ensure that community members and stakeholders have a say and are notified in advance. I can tell you that during the special Flushing Waterfront District fight, the community was not notified until very shortly before the first committee hearing at the local community board number 7. And I actually sit on community board 7, so I'm an official member, and I didn't know about this special Flushing Waterfront project until I heard from people in my community when they found out. And so I think the biggest issue here in Community Board 7 is the fact that a lot of people are not notified. And so I would like to suggest that when a environmental assessment is conducted, at that point, everyone in the community should be notified and should be actually invited to participate in those meetings. Um, so that's something that I feel is really important. When it comes to upzonings, we need to make sure that the infrastructure is in place. The, the city must commit to building more schools, more sewage infrastructure, more transportation to make sure that any type of additional density uh, is actually being built parallel to more city infrastructure. And I think those costs should be paid for by the developer. You know, I believe that the value of the land next to a subway station or a bus terminal um, is much higher value, and so instead of that value going to the property owner or developer, the community should really recoup the majority of those of that value. And so it should pay for these additional infrastructure projects when we do any kind of upzoning. So that's something that I would commit to doing, forcing the city to invest in our community if any upzonings come before uh, Community Board 7, which overlaps with Council District 20.
With large development and infrastructure projects such as Hudson Yards and the Second Avenue subway extension, would you consider supporting land value capture strategies to return that land value uplift to its creators, the taxpayers?
Absolutely. I think these large infrastructure projects directly benefit uh, landowners, developers. They should not profit from activities that are actually generated through public dollars, through taxpayers and residents and small business owners creating that value. It should really be, again, siphoned off uh, by the public for public infrastructure projects. And so for Hudson Yards, any of the infrastructure that was developed by the city should be paid entirely by the developers through some type of land value capture.